Hello, hello. Oh, I see peace. Peace in the um as one of the attendees. All right. So I'm just gonna let others know that we have officially started as well. Yeah, thanks for joining. It's good to see you. I hope you feel better as well. Let's see. Okay. Mm, okay, let me just let Alchemist know. Started. All right, more people trickling in. I see Francis. Well, I'm glad that there's nothing. Okay, see Richard coming in. All right. Hello, hello. Yeah, feel free to drop in where you're watching from. I see Ganesh has joined. Welcome, welcome, Ganesh. All right, so while we wait for more people to come in, we'll kick off in like another minute. Yeah, if you're an alchemist, which I can see all of you guys are, if there's any part of the session that Ibrahim, is that how you pronounce your name?
Exactly. That's how I pronounce it.
That you found that was very interesting or that you learned, feel free to take a screenshot and share on our Twitter and then just place it in the fun lounge for some extra COVOL and XP. But yeah, I guess we can kick it off now. The session is being recorded, so if anybody asks you, it will be it's going live through YouTube, but you can find the recordings there or on the Notion page with all the other workshops that alchemists have done. But Ibrahim would love if you could give an introduction to yourself, a bit of your background, and what the alchemists and other community members can expect from this workshop. And yeah, I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Hi, guys. Good day, everyone. My name is Brian Suleiman. I'm an alchemist, and today I'll be talking about blockchain tokens, what blockchain tokens are, and how you can create one with Solidity. So a little bit of background about myself. I'm a blockchain developer, been in the space for a couple of years now, and I I've built apps on Solidity, Ethereum. Solidity. I mostly write blockchain code with Solidity. So uh, I'll basically be sharing with you guys one of those parts of building on a blockchain that it's pretty well interesting to me. So I think we'll just jump right away. Let me share my screen so I can start right away. Just a moment, please. I'm trying to select all of the windows that I'll be needing for this workshop. All right, so I think we're good to go. So please just indicate if you can see my screen. Just indicate in the chat. Let me confirm. Please, can anyone confirm if you can see my screen so I can quickly? Oh, all right. Thank you, Francis. That's perfect. All right. So, as I said earlier, what we'll be talking about today is blockchain tokens. What are blockchain tokens and how to create one with Solidity? So, by the end of this workshop, if you've never heard about blockchain tokens, or maybe you have uh, like you don't have much knowledge about it, I believe by the end of this workshop you understand what blockchain tokens are, and you know how to write yours, you know how to put your own blockchain token using Solidity. So let's jump right in. Okay, so what are blockchain tokens? Blockchain tokens are digital assets that are created, managed on blockchain, and they represent ownership or access rights to a variety of assets such as cryptocurrencies, digital collectibles, or real-world assets like real estate, company shares, or it might be physical, tangible assets that has value such as gold. So blockchain tokens, right, are digital assets that are used to represent these uh, ownership of these physical assets on the blockchain. So blockchain tokens, right, they are used to facilitate various functionalities. And just as I said earlier on that they are used to uh, represent digital assets on the blockchain. They also have other use cases, which includes payments, governance. And for the case of payments, uh, at one point or the other, some of us might have used Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you might have used uh, maybe Polygon network, for instance, to make a transaction. And you paid for gas fee, right? Or your USDT, for instance, right? Your USDT you used to pay for a transaction. That's an example of payments. That's an example of a token used for payments, which is what we are referring to here. And also for governance, right? Tokens are also used to vote, to delegate rights, and uh, in some protocols, right, that are autonomous, where voting is being conducted on chain. In that kind of protocol, tokens play a very vital role, voting for maybe upgrades to the protocol or some other uh, some other functionalities related to governance, and also decentralized finance. That's like the most popular use case of tokens. So apart from just these uh, functionalities that I just listed, tokens are also used to represent real life assets or internally in blockchain, like for instance, uh, Ethereum blockchain. For instance, Ethereum blockchain has Ether, which is used to facilitate transaction on the blockchain. So, in summary of what blockchain tokens are, right? They are digital representation of assets. They are digital representation of assets on blockchain. So next part to move into now is types of tokens. We have various types of tokens. First one we'll talk about is the utility token. The utility token provides access to products or services within the blockchain ecosystem. For instance, I don't know if any of us have interacted or used proof of Right. Let me quickly check the chat. All right. So, talking about utility tokens, right? They provide access to product or services within the blockchain ecosystem. An example is in some applications where you need to own a particular token to have access to it. I've used a couple of apps like that. And yeah, I I I had to request for it's mostly NFTs, right? Where if you don't have a particular NFT, you can't access some protocols, or you can't, if you don't have a particular NFT, you can't access some services rendered by that protocol. It might be a DeFi app, for instance. It might be a game. So utility tokens comes in play in that kind of use case. And they're also used for crowdfunding projects through ICOs. And the other type of token we'll talk about is security tokens. And these tokens represent ownership of real-world assets, such as equity in a company or debt. And these tokens are subject to securities regulations and offer investors certain rights. So what security tokens are basically tokens that represent actual assets, right? Like the way you have shares in a company, the way you have equity. That is how security tokens are. They represent very world assets. And the other type of token we'll be talking about is asset tokens. These are tokens that represent physical assets that you can see. And when I say physical assets, right, talking about assets like real estate, commodities like physical commodities you can see, and even gold, right? So asset tokens, right, are tokens that represent this particular assets in real life, like physical assets that you can interact with. For instance, if in a particular estate, and let's say you have a particular estate and you want to represent that estate digitally online, let's say you want to maybe trade houses in that estate online, you will need a token. Will come to the type of token you need to mint for this kind of use case later in the workshop. But for now, just know that if you have an estate and you want to digitally trade houses, the properties in the estate online, what you do is you mint the properties as token. And in that case, anybody who purchases token that is linked to a particular property, a particular house, it means the person owns the physical property in the United States. So that's like one of the use cases of asset tokens. So the next thing we'll talk about is the difference between coins and tokens, because this is like a topic that has been largely misunderstood. A lot of times people mix coins and tokens, people use them interchangeably, but in as much as they have similarities, coins and tokens have similarities, but they still have their distinct difference. They still have that particular characteristics that makes them unique from and makes them different. So a coin is the native token of a particular blockchain. So when I say native token, I'm talking about just like how Ether is to Ethereum. Now, Ether is a native token in the Ethereum blockchain, and it is used to make transactions like pay gas fee. And Ether is also used as a store of value, similarly to Bitcoin. Uh, Bitcoin is the native coin. Yeah, it's a native coin and the Bitcoin blockchain, and it is also used as a store of value. And it is used for processing transactions as well. So in this case, Ether is a coin. Ether is a coin. Right? Ether is a coin, and Bitcoin is also a coin because they are both native to their respective blockchains. So a blockchain can only have one coin, just like the way we have Bitcoin, Bitcoin blockchain, Ether, Ethereum blockchain. But tokens, right, as opposed to coins, which are native to that particular blockchain, tokens, on the other hand, represent an asset in the blockchain. Token is just a representation of an asset in the blockchain. And a blockchain can have as many number of tokens as possible, but can only have one coin. That's another difference between coins and tokens. An example, as I said earlier on, Bitcoin, Ethereum. This Bitcoin has its own native coin, and Ethereum also has its own native coin, which is Ether. And the next difference we talk about is between tokens, crypto tokens, and cryptocurrencies. These are also two terms that are largely misunderstood. Similarly to coins and tokens, these two terms also have their similarities, and they also have their differences as well. And it's good to know similarities and differences. So for cryptocurrencies, right, they are fundamentally used as a medium of payment on the blockchain. The sole purpose of cryptocurrency is to be used as medium of payment, is to be used to store value. And cryptocurrencies are created to be used as a currency, just like you have currencies, you have legal tender, you have notes in real life. That is what cryptocurrencies are created for. But on the blockchain, and tokens are fundamentally used, right? Or tokens are fundamentally used as a digital representation of an asset on the blockchain. Now, this is for token, but cryptocurrencies, right, are used as a medium of payment. But crypto tokens, or tokens for short, are fundamentally used as a digital representation of assets on the blockchain. Tokens can also be used for economic purposes, such as legal tender. And I believe some of us might have interacted with USDT at one point or the other. I don't know if you've not heard of USDT or if you've not used it before. USDT stands for USDT is a token by Terra, and it's considered as a stable token because it is tagged to the United States dollar. So what the company, right, what the company is trying to do here is to mint every, like, for instance, it says every dollar they have in their bank account is being minted in the blockchain. So let's say, for instance, They have 10 million dollars on the blockchain. Okay, let's talk about it from that perspective. Now, let's say they have 10 million USDT in supply. Right? What it means is what they claim, the company that owns USDT claims that they also have $10 million in cash. So for every USDT that was minted, there's an equivalent cash, physical cash of that token, the blockchain. So this is one of the use cases of the token. It is used as a legal tender. It is used to basically represent the legal tender, which is, for instance, USDT. It's used to represent legal tender, which is the USD, United States dollar, on the blockchain. So both tokens and cryptocurrencies have similarities, but their fundamental purpose is different. And they can both be traded and exchanged for one another. So the next thing we'll talk about is the categories of uh, tokens. We have the fungible tokens, which is the ERC20, which is the ERC20 token, which is also called the ERC20 token. We have the non-fungible token, which is also called the ERC71 token. And we have others. One of them, the most popular one, is the ERC1155, which is the hybrid. This means it is both fungible and non-fungible at the same time. So it is a smart contract, right, that gives it this functionality. So talking about fungible tokens, fungible tokens, they are not unique. And fungible tokens cannot be interchanged. Okay, they can be interchanged, sorry, they can be interchanged for one another. Just like the way you have USDT, for instance. If I send you, let's say 50 USDT, I mean, if I send you 50 USDT, for instance, right, and you send it to me back, right? Basically, it is still of the same value, right? I'm trying to explain how fungible tokens can be interchanged there. So they still have the same value. But when we get to non-fungible tokens, you'll understand why this is important. So fungible tokens can be subdivided into fractions, just like it, for instance, it can be divided into fractions. It can be divided into denominations of way. And fungible tokens are often associated with utility, such as payments, representation of fiat currencies on the blockchain. And USDT is also a perfect example for that.
So sorry, Ibrahim. It looks like some of the attendees are just mentioning that they can't really hear you too well, or I can hear a little bit of others speaking in the background too, but wondering if we're able to make your audio a bit clearer.
Okay, okay. Um, all right, can you give me a moment? Let me fix that real quick.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's give him a moment to see if we can get him to fix his audio. All right. Well, while we wait for him, how are you guys doing? I'll just turn on my. Oh, nice. There's a festival today. Can you guys hear me fine? Okay, perfect. Okay, okay.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. I had to fix the background. But
Oh,
I believe it's better now, right? I believe you are
ye-
more audible now, right?
yes, I can hear you a bit better now. Uh,
All right.
For those who are having issues, there is an option too, like if you go to more at the bottom, um, you can put show captions, or captions, and it should be able to generate like captions in a specific language for you as well. But yeah, feel free to use that. But thank you so much for doing that, Ibrahim. I'll let you take it away.
All right. All right. So I'll continue from non-fungible tokens. Uh, So just drop your questions on the chat box after this. After I'm done with the presentation, I'll make sure I go through the questions. So if you have any questions, you can just drop it in the chat box. And I'll surely go through it after the presentation. So for non-fungible tokens, every token is unique, and every token have properties that distinguishes them from one another. And non-fungible tokens are popularly called NFTs. Some of us might have heard NFTs in the past, but these are actually what they are. They are unique and they are properties that distinguishes them from one another. And the thing about NFTs is they cannot be divided into small fractions, unlike fungible tokens, where if I have one Bitcoin, for instance, I can send you half of that. Or if I have one Ether, I can send you maybe out of the one Ether I have, I can send you one Gray, or I can send you 100 Gray, which are denominations of Ether. But uh, but not for non-fungible tokens, that's not the case. Each token is unique, and they are mostly associated with uh, digital art on the blockchain. An example of that digital art is the CryptoPunks. Uh, CryptoPunks is a very popular NFT collection. We have a number of NFTs there, and each of the NFTs are unique. So that's an example of non-fungible tokens. So it is because of these unique properties they have, right, that makes them distinguishable from one another. For instance, an NFT can have an ID, which is definitely unique from other NFTs. No two NFTs have the same ID, and the name, and also the properties, the characteristics of that particular NFT. So combining these things together makes an NFT unique. So okay, so I think it's time we code some tokens out. So what we'll be doing now, we'll be writing some Solidity code to create our own token, and we'll be using Remix for this. So if you're with your laptop, you can uh, open your browser and go to remix.org. Okay, let me open it right here. Just a moment, please. A moment, please. I'm trying to pull up my Remix ID for my browser. Um, I should listen. All right, perfect. Okay, so this is my Remix ID. If you're on your computer, you can go to remix.ethereum.org and it will open up a window like this for you. So before we start coding, let me open this and show us what these standards are. So on the Ethereum blockchain, we have standards. We have token standards, and one of those standards is the ERC20 token standard. The ERC20 token is a fungible token. So this is the standard proposed by Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation for creating fungible tokens. And ERC20 is like uh, code, it's like code for this particular standard. So you can go through this on your own, your spare time. If you go to eips.ethereum.org, I'll share it. Okay, if you go to eips.ethereum.org, you can see this. I mean, there are other standards as well, but this is just the one we'll be focusing on for today because we want to be the fungible token. So, and the next thing I want us to look at is Open Zeppelins. Open Zeppelin is, let me say it's like, okay, Open Zeppelin is like, let me see, an organization that writes reusable standard codes for developers so that you don't have to write some of these codes on your own. You can just reuse their codes inside your code and you can build upon it. That's the great thing about Open Zeppelin code. You can simply import it in your Solidity code and build upon it. So Open Zeppelin has a number of code written for some of the standard code, and the ERC20 token code is one of them. And this code was adopted from these standards. So if you go through the standards, you see some functions like total supply, balance of. So what this means is that the fungible token, the smart contract for the fungible token will have these methods like name, symbol, decimals, total supply, balance of, and others. So this is like a proposal for creating the ERC20 token. And Open Zeppelin already has the code for us. The code is written in Solidity. So we'll just go back to Remix now and uh, continue from there. So I already have the code here. And if you want to reproduce this code from your hand, you don't have to copy and paste it. Remix already has it because it's a standard, right? The reason why they place this standard is because uh, you know a lot of tokens, right, are being created every now and then, and these tokens are deployed on the blockchain. And sometimes these tokens communicate with each other. So if you are to build something like that, the recommended way, right, since everybody is building their own token, every protocol is building their own token. So the best thing is to create a standard. So uh, the tokens built by various protocols don't look uh, much different from each other. So if you want to get this code from your Remix ID, you just go to remix.ethereum.org and this workspace, you you click on create a new workspace. I'll just create one for the purpose of this workshop. Let me call it employees. So uh, on above where you enter the workspace name, select an option uh, to select. You click on an option to select the template you want. And now this template means the code, the pre-generated code for the tokens. So in our case, we want an ERC20 token. That's why we selected this and we want it to be immediately vulnerable. So I'll just click OK and to open up a new workspace for me with this with the code for my token. So you can see the token code over here, which is written in Solidity, as I said earlier on. And what is happening here is a lot of imports happening. This is a Solidity code. The first thing over here is our license identifier. Solidity requires that you specify the license identifier because your code will be open source and it is recommended to always have a license identifier for your open source code. The next thing is the Solidity version that we want this code to be compiled with. In this case, we specify that it should be 0.8.20 and above. And the next thing are a couple of imports. And this import is similar to how we import other files into our code. But in this case, we are importing them from the OpenZeppelin contract package. And this is the contract package from Remix that has been installed already. So we just import the code from there. And over here, we are inheriting the, uh, the contract that we imported. And if you can see, we are inheriting the ERC20 contract, the vulnerable, the enable, and the permit. Because of time, we won't be able to go through this contract, but if you go to the OpenZeppelin and GitHub, you can just search for OpenZeppelin contract on GitHub. So when you get there, this is what you will see. So if you are more curious about the contract codes that will be importing into our token contract, this is where you see them. Okay, this is where you see all of the token contract, and this is where you are 20. So over here is where contract code is being written. So when we import the ERC20 over here, when we import the ERC20 over here, what we did there was we imported this code, all this code here. So just to briefly go through some important parts of this code. You see the total supply, the name and the symbol. Now take note of this name and symbol, right? Because we'll use it shortly. But let's go back to Remix and deploy uh, our contracts. So for the next line, right, it's our constructor. Now what our constructor is doing here is trying to initialize the contract that we imported. The first one was to initialize the ERC20 contract. The second one is enable, and the third one is ERC20 permit. So for this ERC20, right, this is going to specify the name of our token. In this case, let me say IBS token. So the next argument to supply here is the symbol for your token. And we'll go through this name and symbol later on. After we deploy this token, I'll show you how it is being used. But after setting the name and the symbol, the next thing is to deploy. Now we have a mint function, yes. We have a mint function, and this is responsible for minting tokens. And it takes in the address and the amount of tokens that is to be minted. This address is the destination where the tokens to be minted to, and the amount, quantity of tokens that is to be minted. So the next thing is to compile. So after compiling this code, we move to compiler section, and you see the name of your token, my token, over here, which is the name of our contract. And after compiling, the next thing is to deploy. So now, when it comes to deploying our token contracts, we need to specify where to deploy it. It's either you want to deploy it to the main net, or you want to deploy it to the test net. And for the test net, you have to specify which of them, because we have Gweli and we have Sequoia. So to do that, you just have to click on injected provider, which will use the selected network of your MetaMask, the one that is currently active in MetaMask. But before then, like, Remix VM is actually the JavaScript implementation of the blockchain in your browser. So it allows you to deploy your code right from your browser. It doesn't deploy it to the blockchain, it just deploys it locally, and it acts as if it has been deployed to the blockchain. But for our use case today, we'll use an injected provider rest of our time. And in this case, it selected Sequoia network, which is the test net. So if you check my MetaMask now, and check the network, you can see that I have 1.0047 Sequoia ETH. This is testnet ETH, and this should be enough for me to do transactions This should be enough for me to do the transactions I want to do. So the next thing is to deploy this token contract. So to deploy it, I will select my wallet address as the owner, pass it over here. So after that, I click on deploy. So this is my MetaMask coming up, asking me to confirm this transaction. So after confirming the transaction, the token will be deployed to the Sequoia testnet. And you can actually see the functions that are exposed for me to use on this token. And these functions, right, came from the contracts that I imported. If you can see my contract, I didn't have most of the functions. I don't have approved born. I only have mint, and this the function that I defined there is what we have here. So the other functions were imported for me from this contract that I'm inheriting, that my token contract is inheriting. So after deploying this contract, the next thing to do is you want to monitor your balances. So the next thing to do is to add it to MetaMask. If you go to your MetaMask, you click on import tokens. And if you can see, I copied the address of the token over here. I copy this address, which is the address of my token. And I come here to paste it. So automatically, it fills up the remaining details for me, like the token decimal and the symbol. If you can remember, this is the symbol we set for this token. So I click on next to import the token. And you can actually see the token we just created right here in my MetaMask wallet. So now I have 0 tokens because none has been minted. So if I go back to Remix, I copy my wallet address and I paste it over here as the address to receive the token. And I enter the amount. Now I want to mint 1,000 token, but what I'll do is I'll add 18 zeros to 1,000 because if you check the decimals, right, what this means is that this token has 18 decimal. So if you have one token with 18 zeros, it means you have 1 unit of this token. So I'll enter 1,000 here, which is what I want. But because of the token decimals, I will have to append the zeros to it. So after filling the details, I click on mint. Now that action I just performed will mint 1,000 tokens and send it to my wallet. So currently the transaction is still pending. So just give it some time. Okay, I think the transaction is completed because when it's just indicated it's successful transaction. So if we go back to my wallet, you can see that this balance that was initially 0 has increased to 1,000. So that is how minting works. I just minted 1,000 tokens into my wallet. And this this is the token. Now this is the symbol. Remember when we were writing the code, I specifically said I want my token symbol to be IBST, and here you have it, IBST. So I have 1,000 of these tokens now, and what I want to do now is I want to transfer this token. So I have two accounts here. I have account one and account two, and if you look at account two, um, the token has not been imported yet. So the first thing to do is to import the token. So all I have to do is to come to my remix, copy the address, and if I click on this import tokens here and paste the address here, to automatically fill in the symbol and the decimal. So over here, you can see that I have 0 of this token IBST. So what I want to do is I want to transfer from account one, which I have 1,000. I want to transfer to account two. So I'll paste my account two address here, select the token I want to transfer. So let me send 99 of these tokens to account two. Okay, here this window is blocking. Subtraction 90. So this is why I confirmed the transaction, which is the transfer of 99 IBS token to my account two from account one. So we just have to wait. Transaction is pending. We just have to wait a little bit. After the transaction is done, 99 tokens will be transferred from this account to my other account, which is account two. So if you look at it now, you can see that I have 99 tokens here. So what we just did is basically how most of the tokens are created, and except they added some functions, or they already have the base, right, which is the RC20 token standard, and the customization is done over here. Just the way we added this mint function, you can add as many functions as you want. And just like how uh, we added IBS token to our MetaMask, we can see our balances. That is how all of these tokens, most of them are created. So if you go to CoinMarketCap, you see a bunch of tokens there, and most of them follows the standard. This is USDT, USDC. And if you go to your wallet and you see USDC, just know that the process that was used to create it was not that much different from ours. So basically, that's how you create the token and you add it to your wallet, to your MetaMask wallet, and you make transaction with that token. So at this point, I'll take any questions. If you have any questions during the process of if you have any questions during the process of the workshop, I think this is where okay, I think I'll start with the questions from the chat box. Let me scroll to the top. Okay, I've not seen any yet. Okay, no questions yet. Yeah, USDC and USDT are two they are two different tokens. Each of them have their use cases, but I think both, right? They are both used for similar purpose. They both represent real life assets. Oh, guys, I'm sorry for the audio. Can see some uh, concerns here about the audio. Sorry for that. Okay, Barry's Palan, you asked for the file explorer, right? So this is my file explorer. Now, this guy has blocked my view here. So, so this is my remix file explorer. So let me just drag this over here. And these are just artifacts. You don't really need them to, you don't really need to go into details to know how those artifacts work in order for you to deploy a token. But this is the main file here, which is my token also. You can name it whatever you want. So I'm not sure what your question is, but this is actually my file explorer. Yeah, 18 zeros for bytes. It's actually 18 zeros. I actually added 18 zeros, right? Because when we were creating our tokens, we specified the uh, number of uh, decimals to be 18. So what that means is uh, your token, like each unit of your token, will have 18 zeros attached to it. And the reason for that is because, it was adopted from the Ethereum, uh, from the Ethereum denomination thing, where you have uh, one way to be equals to 10 to the power of, okay, one ether to be equals to 10 to the power of 18 way. So you can see that that is a lot of diffusibility. That's a very large number. So I think that is what, actually, that is what's applied to uh, creating fungible tokens as well. So it gives it a lot of divisibility. Let me say the ability to divide it into smaller fractions. Right? So what it means is that you can divide one token just like where you can divide something, you can divide the paper into two. But in this case, you can divide this one into 10 to the power of 18 times. That's a pretty large number, to be honest. So I don't see any more questions. Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's 10 to the power of 18. So, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Paris. So, okay, this is your address, right? I think, did you deploy your token? Oh, that's perfect. Let's open it and see. That's perfect. Wow, that's cool. You already have. do this down. That's cool. So you already have 100 tokens, the total supply. And I hope you added it to your MetaMask, right? So you can monitor the uh, balance of that particular token. I recommend you add it to MetaMask so you can see how much you have left. So that will be all from me. So if you have any questions, you can still drop them in the chat box, or you can maybe unmute yourself. I don't know if we can speak, if everyone can speak, but if you can't due to Zoom restrictions, you can drop it in the chat box. So that will be all for me. Still open to questions. No, sorry. I'm not on Instagram, but I'm on Twitter though. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. All right, thank you. Thanks a lot for
Can
that.
you
I appreciate it, Barris.
can you paste your Twitter just below again?
So I just pasted my Twitter.
Perfect. That way, just in case anybody else that yeah, that's amazing that you just created your own token from the workshop. That's great.
All right, so this is my Twitter. Pasted the link in the chat. So I'm still up for questions. If you have any, can maybe drop them in the chat. Or
I will also let me just I'm gonna see if I can also drop maybe your Discord in case like anyone has okay. That is Ibrahim's Discord as well, which you can find him as an alchemist if you have any questions. But yeah, this is this is great. Boris,
uh,
or if
thank
you
you, thank you.
if you share and tweet what you just created, definitely like we'll retweet it from the Alchemist HQ account that you basically created your own token from this workshop. This is amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and hopefully we can get you on more of these workshops.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to more of this kind of workshops in the future.
All right. So I guess I'll close this off. We can end it. But yes, I will be providing once this is done processing, I'll provide the link to this workshop on the Notion page where all alchemists can have access to. I'll actually provide the page to you guys who aren't an alchemist as well. If you are interested in joining, please feel free to register. We do have registrations open right now to become part of the program, which it's gamified. It's a lot of fun. You'll get a chance to be part of a lot of these workshops or share your knowledge and take part in bounties. But I'm just trying to okay. Um yeah, for those who are interested in what all the other alchemists have done, that's where the workshops will live, especially Ibrahim's too. And oh, Ibrahim, one thing I'd love to ask is if I can actually get access to your presentation, I can stick it on this page just so those who aren't able to attend, they can go through your presentation that you did as well.
All right, sure, sure. So I will make the link shareable and I will share it to your DM after this call.
Perfect. But yes, I'll stick all the information on there. As you can see, his is already it's already on there. Blockchain tokens, creating a token with Solidity. For those of you who are looking at the page, the recording will be there. The link to the YouTube. It talks about like what the workshop is about and then the date that it happened. And then in the resources section, that's where I'll put your presentation link as well. But yeah, thanks so much for your time and appreciate the attendees who came and for Alchemists who came to support. But I'll be reaching out to see if maybe you can do another workshop because this was awesome. All right, guys.
Th-
All
Thanks a
right.
lot for having me. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a great rest of the